Let's get wild for day 2 of our challenge. And today we have 3 different challenges happening. The Nature Retreat Challenge, the Eat Local for a Day Challenge, and the Believe It or Not, I Care 12 and 12 I Care Day Challenge. So I hope you've got some pen and papers handy. There's going to be lots of actionable steps. This is not a sit back and just absorb it. We want you to write down some of the actions that you're going to start incorporating into your daily life that can make some transformative changes. And just to get us tuned in a little bit, I want to share with you, feel free to kind of breathe along with this video. I know we're not out in nature. I would love to be doing this sitting out on the beach or out in the forest, but it's pretty cold out there for me, and I don't know about you. I actually appreciate that we can be gathered here in the warmth. And so use your imagination a little bit, and let's just do a little reconnect exercise. Overwhelmed, take a moment to step outside, connect with the natural world around you. Take a deep breath and immerse yourself in nature, taking in the sights, sounds, and smells around you. Simply being in nature can help you recenter and find a sense of peace amid the chaos of motherhood. Embrace the power of nature to find moments of calm and clarity in your busy life. Some tips to incorporate this into your routine is to schedule that regular nature walks or hikes. Create a nature-inspired relaxation space in your home. Practice mindfulness in nature by focusing on the present moment. Or invite your children to join you in nature activities to bond and connect. Tuned in and ready for our Nature Retreat Challenge. And this is all about the power of nature for that deeper connection and feeling that you can, instead of just visiting nature, you can actually feel as if you belong. As you belong, not as if, as you belong. Here, let's take a deep dive into each one of those steps. And the first one was choosing a time that you're going to go out and that finding a place and enjoy nature and make that conscious decision to connect to nature. And I know like it's going to be different for everyone. Like if you've got a really busy schedule, you might want to go for your walk or visit your special place in the morning before you head off to work, or in the evenings when it's quieter and the busyness of the day is done. And I know for me, it changes with the seasons. Like in the summer, I want to get out for my walk for before the heat comes, and uh, I also like to get my gardening chores done before the heat comes, and then I can relax in the coolness during the day. But the winter time, I'm waiting for things to warm up before I go up. So I go out in the warmest part of the day. So see what fits for you and your lifestyle and something that so you can enjoy these times out in nature. Step 2, choose a natural setting. Find a spot that it might be a park close by, or if you're lucky like Cindy, you've got a beach you can head off to and go swimming with the dolphins. My goodness, that's a marvelous experience. Then, or myself, like I live right in the forest, so I can step out the door and I'm there. But still, I have like special trees that I like to visit and sit under, or I've got a hill that overlooks a little pond, and I like to go there. That's more, if I need consoling from nature, then I'll head out on my pond and I can just sit and reflect and so and it might be just going and finding a little bit of green space in your neighborhood or searching for little wildlife in your nature. Or as at that first video, you set up a green space in your home, that you can enjoy journaling in or relaxing in. The next big thing, disconnect from that technology. The last thing you want to do when you're going out to the natural world is getting pulled back into cyberspace. So turn them off, leave them behind. You'll be fine if you're disconnected for that time. And when you go that like well, this leads into our next step for having mindful activities out in nature. Like it could be like yoga, meditation. I love, sitting out in the sun and with my favorite tree there and doing a morning meditation or also when you're out there, like make it a mindful walks where you're taking in all the sights and sounds and smells and give yourself permission to explore. Like stop and check out that little blossom that's appeared or you know listening and you hear a bird song. Try to find out where the bird is, where it's coming from. Like, just take that time and take it all in. There's so much happening out in nature. If you slow down enough to actually take it in and enjoy it. And then after you have that experience, reflect on it a bit. I'm going to tell you an experience I had the other day where, like, I like to go out each day for a walk at least, or go out and catch some sunshine. And it was a little colder out, and it was a little dreary, and I was nice and warm inside. We had the fire going, and I was cozy, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I really want to go outside. But because I have this habit that every day I get out, so I did step out. And it wasn't that bad. It might be better than you think when you get out there. And I thought, well, I'll do something practical to use my time. So I went and checked the light in the well house there and then I started walking down the lane and I found that a farmer had left a bale right by the fence, and so the horses were right there. So I went and visited with the horses, and they're very friendly. And then the neighbor's dog came over, so I had a visit with the dog. And as I was walking back, there was a whole flock of grosbeaks in the trees eating the seeds from the lilacs. And so my walking experience was very full, and I came back and I felt so good having been outside, and I got some exercise. I moved my body. I got that fresh air and then I find like in the night, like I'll sleep better if I've had that time outside. So when you come back in, if you reflect on how it was before, how it was afterwards, and it can be very motivating that, ah, yes. And I know there's been numerous times it's like, oh, I really enjoyed that. Why don't I do this more often? And you can write in your journal if you want to. I know when I'm gardening, I like to have a garden journal for everything that's happening in the garden. But that can be a practice too, and check on your stress levels and just see what difference it can make. Now that's your basic experience of getting out in nature. And if you want to make it go a little bit deeper and make it about having that deep connection and connecting with with culture, the culture, like what is your uh, heritage and the culture and history of the place where you're living. This is more, connection to place. But what's the history behind it? Like, what's the story behind it? And think about your ancestors if, when they came and I know I had a lot of farmers and they came and it was, they had to clear some land and make their homesteads and or the indigenous peoples that if you study some of their traditional practices and knowledge and gather the stories. And I love hearing the stories from the elders, or I call them the old timers, these are folks up here, like they, it was very rugged living up here in the forest. They were trappers and lived in little cabins out in the woods and it's really, really interesting. And then and you may find too that, gee, you've got some stories of your own that connects you to your place and like what brought you to where you're living. And I know with myself, I we live right in the forest, and as you're getting that stronger connection to nature and starting to really appreciate all that nature gives and have that gratitude and a bit more of a reciprocal attitude toward nature. And where I live, what happened there, it was the forest that brought me into my community. We toured around. I loved the forest. I loved the people here. So I built my home here in the forest. And then, being that there is a lumber company right close, they wanted to clear cut that forest. And well, my reciprocal action, it was like, no, I did not. All those birds and animals that they cheer me up with their song and their all the plants that give me their fruits and vegetable herbs and the I did not want to see their environment destroyed, their homes destroyed. So we put together what was called an eco museum, a museum without walls, but to keep that forest intact and to preserve our way of life and the historical way of life and gathering again all those stories and so think of that if you build that deeper connection and appreciation for nature and how it sustains you and then hopefully developing that love of nature, and then you can let that love you feel start directing your actions there. And we all belong. We're all a part of creation here. Um, and with that, then you start to feel more, it's not just visiting nature, you belong to nature. It's our home. And a little bonus here for if you invite your friends to come along in your nature activities there and then, you know, ask them how they felt out after the experience, reflect and see if maybe they've got some other ideas for your next nature adventure. And so with that, that's the challenge. And review those steps and see how you can make nature and that nature retreat being out there a part of your day.